Yes guys, what is up? Welcome to Supercars of London and welcome to a video with two cars behind that I have never seen go head to head until today. We have got a Nardo Grey Audi RSQ3 with a BMW M5 Competition. Now at the time of filming, these two cars are similarly priced. The Audi, £51,000, the BMW, £58,000. Now whilst they are the same age, the mileage varies. But today, seeing as we've done a garage update, I've now got the Audi R8, the EV is on the way, which is going to be Kelly's daily. I've got the Golf GTI that is a fun, warm hatchback, but I want to try and find a car that bridges the gap between the practicality that we got from the Jaguar E-Pace and the performance and fun from the Golf GTI, which is why I'm about to go head to head with an RSQ3 and an M5 Competition. Now naturally, we start in the BMW M5 Competition because it is not just haloed as one of the best daily drivers of all time. It's argued this is one of the best cars in the world. And at sub 60 grand now, they are looking pretty good value for money. Now throughout this video, I'll be rattling off a few finance quotes on this particular car, the Audi RSQ3, and some of its rivals and cars that I'm also considering with the help of Forza Finance. Now these guys helped me get into the Audi R8 V10 at some crazy prices, so they are absolute magicians when it comes to getting the monthly payment absolutely spot on. And with the BMW M5, even though it's sub 60 grand, it's still a high performance, lumpy V8 four-door saloon, which is prone to depreciation. So we'll get on to the finance in due course, but shall we just enjoy the power? I mean, even low down in the torque, the way this thing takes off, it's such a grown-up car though. And whilst you do get the practicality element, you've really got to throw this car and wrestle with it on some of the B roads to get the performance out of it, because it really is almost too good for the roads, but it's too heavy and too lumpy for the track stuff. So where does it sit other than just being a very, very fast A to B car? Whereas what we're going to compare with the Audi is, that is a slightly smaller, slightly less powerful, but probably more fun in terms of an all-round usable package for the roads and doing day-to-day normal things. It does tick so many boxes and does such a fantastic job that would I ever want to get in my R8? If I want to go for a drive, maybe, because I've got manual and that is the only saving grace. This car is so much faster, so much more comfortable. You've got a normal sized boot. You can fit 5 adults in this car. What can't this car do? Instantly, when I thought about replacing the Golf GTI with a car that still provided me with that level of fun but needed a bit more practicality, the Audi RSQ3 was right at the forefront. And this in Nardo Grey with the diamond cut wheels, the red details, the red brake calipers, whilst it's not exactly a nuke spec, I could wrap this satin black, it still provides so much of what I look for in a car and in a daily driver. But this engine, as we know, is a fan favorite and it sounds so good. And I have driven an RSQ3 before. I drove the Sportback, the Coupe, which I actually prefer. Visually, I think the Sportback Coupe lines look better than this more traditional SUV shape. But this engine has surprised me. That's quite a nice house. So much in terms of its performance and capabilities. And the size of it, the weight of it, means you can be a bit of a hooligan. And okay, I'm gonna put the window out because it'll probably ruin the audio. Oh my God. You just turn into a different kind of driver being behind the wheel of this as opposed to the M5 Comp. And the M5 Comp is such a great car and so capable that I'm driving on the perfect roads for this kind of car. The sound, the engine, the suspension's a little bit stiff. The M5 is definitely a lot comfier. I think that's just something to do with the size of the wheelbase more than anything. But I get a better feeling driving this than I do the M5 Comp in terms of bridging the gap between the Jag E-Pace and my Golf GTI. And the M5 is so different to those two cars, but it is the benchmark of the daily driver. But maybe I've come into this drive knowing what they are per month a little bit favourable to the RSQ3, because even though the price point isn't dissimilar, the monthly figure is. Just getting back into the M5 competition and driving these two cars back to back, M5 into RSQ3, back into M5, it is amazing how different these cars are. Like I said at the beginning of the video, how incomparable they are. But at the same time, they both do the daily driver fun driving incredibly well. The RSQ3 is this Asbo hot hatch on stilts that is so enjoyable to drive, and it just ekes out the Asbo in you. Whereas the M5 competition, now jumping back into it, it is such a relaxing experience. It is so smooth to cruise around the roads, and you still have this monstrous V8 up front that is terrifyingly fast around the country lanes. So it is so nice to get back behind the wheel of both of these cars, and they are so different. But the one thing that I was looking for in this initial shopping phase is a Golf GTI replacement and a Jaguar E-Pace replacement. And the RSQ3 is so much more that than this. The RSQ3 at £51,000 and the M5 at 58.5, we're looking at 10% down, 6,000 miles a year over a 4-year period. And we've looked at PCP, but the higher purchase with a balloon payment at the end is coming out that bit cheaper because you're able to manipulate the balloon payment a little bit more. However, the M5 competition is still quite low on the balloon payment because it's a 4-door high-performance saloon car, so they are notorious at depreciating. And just look at the previous generations of M5s, you can pick them up for 25 grand. So this at £58,000 is rather expensive. So 10% down, £5,100 on the RSQ3, £5,800, which in the grand scheme of things, percentage-wise, isn't a great deal of a difference. But what the monthly payments come out at, £755 a month, just over 600. So there's approximately £145 per month difference between the two cars, even though there's only a 5 to 6 grand difference in the actual purchase price. When you look at the Golf GTI at £400 a month and the Jag E-Pace again at around £400 a month, the RSQ3 seems just that little bit more value for money. £200 a month extra gets you that much performance and car for your money, whereas this is nearly double. And that's why I said I should be given the finance quotes at the end of the video so that I can be a little bit more unbiased when it comes to thinking about replacing one of my cars with one of these two cars, because on paper, purchase price isn't that dissimilar. I was thinking that this maybe would be a little bit more affordable on finance, but £755 a month is quite steep. Very interesting exercise, and to start things off, I think it's a good place to start because we know where £50,000 is going to get you on the monthly payments. And what was quite interesting as well is I picked out a couple of other cars on the Saxton 4x4 website, one of them being a BMW M240i and a Macan T, one of the new Macan Ts. The Macan T was nearly £900 a month, whereas the M240 at around £45,000 was coming in at just over £500 a month. So if you consider what the RSQ3 is like on performance, the M240i is a grown-up 2 Series with a hell of a lot of performance for that money. I wonder what a X3 M40 would be per month. head into the link in the description, check out Forza Finance. If you are looking at buying a car, it is well worth to get a finance quote from those guys before you head into the dealership, so you know what numbers you can be working towards. And of course, Saxton 4x4 for all of your car needs, whether it's an SUV, coupe, estate, hybrid, EV. Those guys have the most ridiculous stock, which is why I love coming down and seeing them and driving some of their cars. I'll see you soon, guys. Take care. Goodbye.